It felt like a new day in America after the race was called for Biden on Saturday. The president-elect who received the most votes ever in the history of presidential races, so far over 4 million more than the incumbent, and a message of unity rather than division that has defined the last 4 years.
It's time to put away the harsh rhetoric, lower the temperature, see each other again, listen to each other again. And to make progress, we have to stop treating our opponents as our enemies.
He's promised to hit the road running, already naming members of a COVID-19 task force, vowing to rejoin the Paris Climate Change Agreement and addressing issues around racial equity. The Washington Post reporting he'll reverse the decision to withdraw from the World Health Organization and repeal bans on immigration targeting Muslim-majority countries, among other measures to reset relations with allies abroad.
I pledge to be a president who seeks not to divide, but unify, who doesn't see red states and blue states, only sees the United States. And work with all my heart, with the confidence of the whole people, to win the confidence of all of you. And for that is what America, I believe, is about. It's about people. And that's what our administration will be all about.
He dipped his hat to the coalition that won him this high office, particularly black Americans whose support turned his losing campaign into a victorious juggernaut, while ceding the stage to his historic vice president-elect, who herself is seen as a future president.
Congressman John Lewis, before his passing, wrote, "Democracy is not a state, it is an act." And what he meant was that America's democracy is not guaranteed. It is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it.
And fight they'll have to do, with a number of Trump campaign-initiated court cases in various states seeking to undermine the projected result.
He, for example, attacked mail-in ballots. He attacked the whole system consistently. So I think the first is just him not recognizing it. The second is that I think there's a mistaken belief by him and his supporters that they have a valid legal claim, that they somehow can take questions to the courts, the Supreme Court specifically, and get some of the ballots thrown out. So I think that there's certainly not a legal claim. I think the claims are very, very weak if we go through the court's decisions on many of them. So, for example, many have been thrown out.
And as world leaders quickly lined up to congratulate the Biden-Harris ticket, a fuming President Trump refused to accept his loss. President Trump spent the weekend on the golf course and continued to erroneously complain on Twitter that he'd won the election by a lot, while repeating conspiracy theories around fraud and rigging as his campaign pursues those through the courts. But something happened Saturday that is indisputable. Power has begun to shift. One can tell just by how the president-elect's entourage has grown. And while President Trump so far is refusing to pass on the baton, it's quickly dawning on Americans that it was never his to give. Rather, that of the majority of Americans who voted for Joe Biden. Sherman Briceby's SABC News, New York.